In almost every Pokemon game, your rival always picks the starter that beats yours, which is interesting because starters are such an important part of a playthrough. People always say Bulbasaur and Squirtle are easy mode since they're effective against most gyms, and that Charmander is hard mode. That got me thinking, if picking Charmander is considered a challenge, what if I took that challenge a step further? Instead of using Pokemon that are strong against each gym, what if I could only use Pokemon that are weak to them? So yeah, can I beat every gym even though I'm weak to them? As most Pokemon journeys begin, ours starts by naming ourselves. And after leaving our home for the very first time, we head to Professor Oak's lab. He lets us choose our very first Pokemon, and our rival, wasting no time, immediately decides it's time to battle. Once the fight is over, we're finally able to start moving towards Viridian City. As we arrive to Viridian City, we stop by the Pokemart, where they immediately ask us to deliver a package to Professor Oak. And after making our way all the way back down to Pallet Down and returning the parcel to Professor Oak, he rewards us and our rival with the Pokédex. And with the Pokédex finally received, I finally have my freedom. Well, from here it's just a quick trip through Viridian Forest and straight into Pewter City. Before we talk about our Pokemon options, we need to talk about Brock's team. Brock uses Rock-type Pokemon and has 2 Pokemon, and his highest level is 14. And speaking of those 2 Pokemon he uses, first things first, Geodude is basically irrelevant. The only real issue here is Onix, as Onix's signature move is Rock Tomb. Rock Tomb will basically 2-hit every Pokemon I have access to, and on top of 2-hitting, it will lower speed, meaning that after the first Rock Tomb, Onix now outspeeds every single one of my Pokemon. The only upside here that is in our favor is that Rock Tomb doesn't have perfect accuracy, so we're going to have to take advantage of that with the 4 Pokemon we have available to. And honestly, the first one being Pidgey, which doesn't have any strong damaging moves, but it does have Sand Attack. Sand Attack offers a lot of utility as it lowers the opponent's accuracy by 1 stage and it gets Rock Tomb that's incredibly valuable. Next up we have Sparrow, which honestly might be one of the worst Pokemon we have access to, because at this point all of its moves are only Growl, Peck, Leer, and Fury Attack, none of which do meaningful damage nor provide utility. Then next up we have Beedrill, which is kind of a weird case, as it gets Poison Sting, which can poison, but the problem is none of the available Pokemon have the survivability to actually take advantage of it. And finally, Butterfree. Butterfree gets access to a lot of status moves, but what really makes it stand out is Confusion, as Confusion is a special move, so it gets to ignore Onix's massive defense stat, and it even has a chance to confuse, which can cause the opposing Pokemon to hit itself, waste a turn, and take chip damage. So I really think we have 2 really good options with Butterfree and Pidgey, with Butterfree as the lead as it can handle damage, with Pidgey offering support with Sand Attack. So honestly, yeah, I'm pretty excited to see how Brock goes. So we have finally made it to the Pewter City Gym. Facing our first gym leader in our challenge, Gym Leader Brock. Brock leads this battle with Geodude. We follow up with our own lead of Butterfree, starting with a Confusion. We deal a good chunk of damage. The Geodude follows up with a Defense Curl. That means that we're able to knock out Geodude with Butterfree taking 0 damage. With Geodude out of the way, Brock is now going to swap into Onix, his last Pokemon. We are also going to swap into Pidgey. Here we're going to take advantage of the utility of Sand Attack. We should be able to outspeed Onix on the first attack. So we will be landing that Sand Attack. Let's see how Brock's Onix follows up. Follows up with a Rock Tomb, and it misses! We follow up with a second Sand Attack. His accuracy has been lowered twice now. Follows up with a Rock Tomb, and it lands. This will also be lowering our speed, so we now will no longer outspeed the Onix. We're actually slower than him. Follow up with the second Rock Tomb hitting. Pidgey is out after 2 Sand Attacks. So we're going to follow up with Butterfree. Now this is not completely out of here. Butterfree's Confusion still has a chance to confuse. Let's see. good amount of damage, and it confuses! That is 2 accuracy drops and a confusion on the low accuracy. Oh, and it hurt itself confusion. This means that this Onyx, does it land its Rock Tomb? Let's see. It does not! It misses! That means that this fight is all over. And that's it. Onyx is defeated. After defeating Brock, we head towards our next gym, which means traveling through Mount Moon. While in Mount Moon, we run into Team Rocket, deal with them, and eventually make it out to the other side to Cerulean City. While in Cerulean City, we battle our rival, clear at Nugget Bridge, and help Bill out in his lab, who then gives us a ticket to the SSAN, which we will use later. Planning for this, I was kind of scared about this fight. Staryu really isn't the problem. The real threat here is Starmie. This thing is like fast, like really fast, and it also hits pretty hard. And so I was, yeah, this definitely scared me. So going into this, we only actually have 3 Pokemon available for Misty. We have Geodude, Nidoking, and Nidoqueen. And first things first, Geodude is terrible. I originally thought I could use Sturdy to survive a hit and land like a self-destruct to basically try to knock out the Starmie in like one hit. But I did not know this, but in Generation 3, Sturdy only blocks OKO moves like Fissure, and it does not work like it does in modern games. Okay, honestly, I didn't think I would had needed to EV train this early. But this fight basically forces me to, as the Nidos kind of have awful moves at this point, and if it wasn't for the Mega Punch and Mega Kick tutors, I would not have really good moves, except for, I will say, after digging into level up moves, I actually learned that Nidoran Female actually learns Bite at level 20. With our level cap being 21, I could level it up to that point, but I had to level it up without evolving. The other thing that's also kind of weird is that Bite is a Dark type move, which is effective against Starmie's Psychic type, but also that this is weird because this is Gen 3, so there is no physical and special split as the modern games have, and all Dark type moves are special. And so basically, to play around Starmie's speed stat as well as its typings, I had to level up Nidoking's speed stat through EV training and Nidoqueen's special attack just to have a real good shot at this. So we have made it to the Cerulean City Gym Leader. We are facing our second gym, Misty. Alright, so Misty should be basically starting with her Staryu. We are going to lead with our own Pokemon of Nidoking. Nidoking's main move for this entire fight should be the move Mega Kick. Now, Mega Kick is very powerful, but its one downside is the fact that it has a low accuracy, but if it does land, which it is landing, it is knocking out Staryu. Okay, so this means that we are, actually leveling up here, which I think at level 22, we're actually learning the move Thrash. We're not going to learn Thrash, as Thrash is kind of a bad move, so we're going to stop learning Thrash, and we're going to now be facing against Misty's Starmie. We're going to actually stay in and not swap out, and we're just going to go into the Mega Kick. We should be outspeeding because of IV training, not EV training, not IV training. We're actually doing half health. We're actually really concerned about the Water Pulse confusing here. Is it confusing? It is confusing, which means that we're not just battling the low accuracy of Mega Kick, we're actually also battling confusion here, which we are hurting ourselves in confusion, which means that Starmie will be knocking out our Nidoking here, and we're going to have to be relying on Nidoqueen. Starmie should not one-hit Nidoqueen here, but we're actually really concerned more so about the Water Pulse confusing. So let's see if it is confusing here. It is not. It's just going to put us down a good amount of damage, though, but Bite should be cleaning up the rest of Starmie here, which means that Misty is now taken down. Nidoqueen is going to actually level up to level 22. We should be learning the move Body Slam, but, you know, even though the fight is over, we're going to actually replace the move Scratch, probably. And yeah, with 1, 2, 3, and that's it, yeah. Body Slammed, learned, and Misty is defeated. Yeah, let's go. After defeating Misty, we head towards our next gym. In Vermilion City, we flash our ticket and board the SS Anne. On the ship, we once again battle our rival, and after helping the captain, he rewards us for the HM cut, so we are now able to take on our third gym. Our third gym leader is Lieutenant Surge, and ironically, he actually uses 3 Pokemon, 3 electric type Pokemon to be specific, so that means we're also allowed to use 3 Pokemon that are all 3 weak to electric type Pokemon. Surge's signature move for his team is Shockwave. It's an electric type move that doesn't check accuracy, so again, it's kind of like Misty. It's another gym that I can't take advantage of things missing. But the 2 Pokemon that we actually do need to worry about, because it's not just one this time, it is Pikachu and Raichu, as these 2 Pokemon both have the ability Static, means that in Generation 3, there is a 1 in 3 chance of being paralyzed after using a move that makes contact. But most threatening thing is that both Pikachu and Raichu also know the move Double Team, meaning that if they even get a few off, it almost becomes basically impossible to win. But besides that, though, there isn't really anything else to talk about. Now, talking about team discussion, we actually have a lot of options available for this gym, but the most important thing to talk about is that to enter Surge's gym, we actually have to use the move Cut. And the problem is, when I was planning this out the first time, I didn't realize that none of the Pokemon that I originally wanted to use can actually learn Cut. I could have easily just brought another Pokemon that knew the move, and that would have worked. But it really wouldn't be in the spirit of the challenge, because I would have to bring like 4 Pokemon instead of 3. Farfetch. Farfetch is actually available as a trade in Vermilion City, which is something I just completely forgot about until I started looking into Pokemon that can learn the HM cut. Outside of that, though, there really isn't much planning for this gym. Honestly, just because I want to, I'm bringing Farfetch, Gyarados, and Golbat. So yeah, there's no real strategy here. I'm just kind of hoping for the best. Yeah. Alright, so time to begin our third gym, Lieutenant Surge. Alright, Surge is probably going to be more or less pretty easy, because the only things that we're really worried about is Static and a spamming of Double Team. We're going to lead with Gyarados. Gyarados is Intimidate. I'm kind of just leading with Gyarados just because he should be able to deal with Voltorb very easily. Shockwave should not deal that much damage. Yeah, it's not doing it. Even if it's 4 times weak, Tackle Shield should still be able to do a decent amount of damage. If this crits, I think this knocks out Gyarados. Let's see. It is a critical hit. We are actually getting knocked out here. Okay, so this one's really weird because we're actually, I wasn't expecting Farfetch to actually be very strong in this fight. Super Potion used by Lieutenant Surge. But Farfetch is actually, weirdly enough, one of those Pokemon that is kind of just like really niche, but it's a Pokemon I actually really really enjoy. Put in the comments below if you actually have a Pokemon that's like really niche. That's a critical hit. Oh my gosh. Put in the comments below if you have a Pokemon that is like really niche that you just like overall like to use. I kind of like this challenge because I get to use some awkward Pokemon like Farfetch. Okay, so this one's the more important thing. A cut off the Pikachu. Are we getting Static? No, just knocked out in 1 hit, no Static, no nothing. Alright, last Pokemon from Surge, we have Raichu. This should be pretty easy, because as long as a cut will go through, okay, a Double Team, so there is a chance of us missing here. There's also a chance if we do land an attack, we're also having to deal with Static. Are we dealing with Static here? It is a critical hit, and it almost 1 hit. What? Oh wow, Farfetch is crazy here. A Shockwave. This should not deal that much damage, but we are really concerned about the missing here. Nope. Awesome. This was absolute cake. Honestly, I'm kind of excited that I got to use Farfetch. Let's go. After defeating Lieutenant Surge, we head towards our next gym by going through Rock Tunnel, and we just then walk straight into Celadon City. All right, when it comes to talking about the discussion for this gym, first we get on top of this building, pick up Eevee, we then buy a Water Stone, evolve Eevee into Vaporeon. After that, we head to the restaurant, get the coin case from this guy who lost all of his money. We grind enough coins to buy the TM for Ice Beam. We teach it to Vaporeon. That's it. So, we've just made it to our 4th gym, Erika. Erika is grass types. And yeah. Okay, seriously, this should be a cakewalk. When I was going into planning for this one, I was like realizing that a lot of the Pokemon we have access to will get one hit, except for one Pokemon, Vaporeon. Vaporeon gets Ice Beam, so we're gonna lead with Vaporeon, Ice Beam. It one hits, so yeah. Erika should be swapping into Tangela here. We are gonna stay in. Ice Beam should also one hit here. We should not have to worry about it. Let's go. All right, now that's all that's left is the Vileplume. You know what? Just to showcase how awful these other Pokemon are, let's go into Dugtrio. Dugtrio does have a nice little application with Sand Tomb, which honestly, let's actually lead with that. It's gonna trap this Stun Spore is really scary because Dugtrio now does not outspeed, which is actually like one of the biggest things that is kind of scary about this fight, but also just ground and rock type Pokemon kind of suck. Giga Drain, that's gonna do a lot of damage. It does. Let's see, do we get... Oh, and it fully heals the Vileplume. That's awesome. Fury Swipes is gonna do 2 hits. Okay, well, I thought I was going to do more than that. The Sand Tomb does do damage, which is not terrible. We'll follow up with Dig. It doesn't matter. We don't outspeed. Really frustrating. That shouldn't be that much health. You know what? Also, just to showcase how terrible these other Pokemon are, you know what? Let's just try Graveler and just show how terrible it is. Honestly, let's see, if we live, we'll do a self-destruct, but if not, we're gonna get one hit because it's Giga Drain, because for some reason that's the only move Vileplume will use. Okay, so this might be close, just depends on how things go. If we get like a low roll on the Ice Beam, but the Ice Beam should be pretty strong, so let's see. Let's get that freeze on here too. Freeze! Oh, actually. Okay. Frozen. Freeze. Ice Beam. Follow up. Ice Beam here. Full heal. That's yeah, got rid of the... Okay. This is it. Cake. That's Erika down, dude. And who would have thought? Just use Vaporeon. Just use Vaporeon. As easy as that. Erika down, we move on to Team Rocket's secret base in the game corner. There we meet Team Rocket's leader, Giovanni. We defeat him and then acquire the Silph Scope. With the Silph Scope acquired, we can now head to Lavender Town. We can defeat even more of Team Rocket and rescue Mr. Fuji. With us rescuing him, he gives us the Poke Flute, which lets us now head to our next gym in Fuchsia City. Moving forward, this is honestly where the game becomes super easy. It turns out bad matchups don't really matter once the game stops trying, and because of that, Koga and the rest of the gyms are kind of a joke, as this entire gym just takes one Executor. Alright, time for Koga, our 5th gym. Koga. Honestly, this kind of point in the series is kind of interesting because just we have Pokemon that are just quite strong enough to be able to deal with it, as we're leading with Executor against Koga's coughing. We use Confusion. and it knocks out as it's super effective. Honestly, Executor should honestly basically sweep this entire gym like it's nothing. He's going to go into Muck. We're going to stay in. We're just going to keep doing Confusion. Confusion here should kill. No, it does not. Okay. It does enough damage. Oh, the Minimize actually might be a problem here. Now we actually don't have perfect accuracy. Confusion, it lands anyway. That's Muck down. Kind of could have been a problem, but it's not. Let's see. Koga's swapping into another Coughing. Why does he have two Coughings? I honestly think he should have had maybe like a Grimer, but Coughing is getting one hit just like the first one, and then all that's left is the Wheezing, which honestly this fight is so easy. Honestly, I didn't even need like more than just the Executor. I've taken no damage. Confusion hits, and Confusion kills. Alright, Executor has completely swept Koga. This gym was absolutely no problem. Yeah, time for the next gym. And with Koga defeated, how about we now head to the Silphco headquarters, defeat Team Rocket again, and pick up the Master Ball. I am going to be super honest. I thought this gym was going to be scary at first, until I realized Haunter exists. We are now at our 6th gym, Sabrina, and I won't lie, at first I was really scared of Alakazam here, but similar to Koga, we should be able to sweep this with just our Haunter. Sabrina's going to lead with Kadabra, we're going to lead with our own Haunter. Let's do this. Shadow Ball, dude, Shadow Ball's so broken. Should be a one-hit here, we outspeed. Pretty sure we outspeed every Pokemon here. Kadabra's down. Sabrina, she is now going to follow up with Mr. Mime. We're going to stay in because Haunter is all we need. Shadow Ball should one-hit here. We outspeed. Also, the level of Pokemon in this is kind of drastic, because, like, why is her highest Pokemon 43, but her lowest is 37? Feels like a big gap. Next into Alakazam, which is her ace, but she's actually leading with it third, and not last. Shadow Ball should one-hit here. Blast Cannon. Completely down, no problem. Alright, final Pokemon should be Venomoth. This might be a problem as our Shadow Ball is not super effective, but this should be basically cake because it's level 38. Does this one hit? It does not, but ooh, Supersonic. Nope, miss. Awesome. Shadow Ball should clean up. And Sabrina is down. Again, no problem with the gym. Defeated Sabrina. Let's go. With Sabrina defeated, we can now start our path to our 7th gym by surfing our way to the Seafoam Islands. There, we throw a Master Ball at Articuno, and then head our way to Cinnabar Island and begin our exploration to the Pokemon Mansion and grab the secret key. Okay, Blaine. I can actually talk about Blaine's team a little bit. Fire Blast is his signature move, and honestly, it's kind of no joke. Also, grass Pokemon aren't exactly amazing here, but we do have access to Magneton, and we get to use Scyther, which I honestly think is super cool. Alright, we have made it to Blaine. This is our 7th gym. Blaine's only real problem here is Fire Blast is a very powerful move, and Grass-type Pokemon suck. He's going to be leading with Growlithe again. Towards the end of the game, it kind of feels like the designers were not really trying, as a lot of the Pokemon that these gym leaders have are just like pre-evolutions that aren't evolved, when honestly they should have a team of all evolved Pokemon, especially when we're at like the 7th gym. But, you know, Electric's pretty strong. Magneton knocked out Growlithe. He's going to move into it with Ponyta. We're going to Thunderbolt. It's going to do a good amount of damage. See? And it's one hit. That is 2 1-hits with just the Magneton. He's going to swap in with Rapidash. We are going to swap. Let's go into Scyther. I think Scyther's going to be fun. Yeah, Rapidash, Arcanine, Ponyta, Growlithe. is a cool team. We're going to Swords Dance here. We're just going to set up. We should be able to just sweep from here. Fire Blast, that should not kill. Let's see. Get a 5-level increase. It does not kill. Let's go. We're going to Slash here. Slash 1 hit. Of course, we're +2. Let's go. Rapidash down. Now all that's left is the Arcanine. This should be a piece of cake because we're probably outspeeding here, as well as our attack has been lowered by the Intimidate, but we are still +1 here. Slash should be a 1-hit kill, and that's it. Blaine's done. Critical hit to close out the 7th gym. Let's go! Alright. 7th gym down. Now it is time to head to our 8th gym and our final for our entire challenge. Let's go. With Blaine defeated, we just head back to Viridian City, and there's no real story or anything. We just get to talk about Giovanni. And dude, too many Pokemon can learn Surf. We're playing Raichu because I like playing Raichu, and Electrode because self-destruct is funny. Let's go. Alright, we have made it to our 8th and final gym, Giovanni. And again, I will kind of highlight on that our team is just a bunch of Pokemon that are just kind of cool and epic, and then I like to use. We're starting with Raichu versus Giovanni's Rhyhorn. We're going to start with Iron Tail. Raichu misses. Okay, he's going to follow up with Scary Face. Scary Face is a funny move here. It's going to lower our speed a stage. We're going to do Brick Break. Brick Break should be pretty good. Super effective. He's going to follow up with another Scary Face. Okay. Our speed is now down 2. We're going to Brick Break. I believe Iron Tail missed. I get Iron Tail is not perfect accuracy, but missed. Then we're just going to rely on Brick Break. He's going to go into Doug Trio. We're actually down 2 speed, so there's actually no reason to stay in. We're actually going to go into Electrode because time to do our self-destruct play. Doug Trio, self-destruct. There's no way Doug Trio lives this. We're literally 8 levels higher. Yeah, absolutely destroyed. Okay, we are 8 levels higher. We die. Now we're going to go in. We're going to go into Tentacruel here. I actually really like the idea of using Tentacruel. Just so many Pokemon get Surf at this point. So we're going to Surf. Surf here is going to do probably a 1-hit for the same level. Also, this is the level 50 Rhyhorn. Isn't this his Ace? Why is his Ace out now? Guess he's going to rely on both Nido's left. We're going to go into our own Nidoqueen here, actually. Let's do Nidoqueen versus Nidoqueen here. We are 6 levels higher. Let's do our Surf. Good 1-hit. It did not. Okay, Earthquake. This might actually do really good damage. Nope, it half health. Actually pretty good damage. We're going to follow up with a Surf to clean out this Nidoqueen. All that's left from Giovanni is his Nidoking. This should be basically closed out. We've only lost 1 Pokemon to our self-destructing. So yeah, we're going to go in with Nidoking. Let's have the mirror at the end of this. Nidoking versus his Nidoking. Let's go. Nidoking. 5 levels higher. Surf. Does this close it out in 1 hit? Let's see. And it's a 1-hit. Super effective. And that's it. Our 8th gym and our entire challenge is over. Yeah. This was fun. I really enjoyed this challenge. Let's go. If you liked the video and want to see more, feel free to like and subscribe. If you tried this challenge yourself, let me know how it went for you. Was it super easy at the end? And if you have any ideas on how to improve the challenge or suggestions for other content you would want to see from me, leave them in the comments below, and I'll take a look at them. So yeah, until next time, thanks.